In the previous video, we looked at how you'd carry out a basic site analysis. In this video, we're going to look at how you carry out a basic site analysis presentation, one that might be suitable for a student, say, in their first or second year in college. In other words, a very basic project. Now, you might remember that in the previous video, we went out to the site armed with our site analysis checklist and with our phone and with our notepad. We went through all the items on our checklist of things to consider, the views, the approach to the site, flora, fauna, materials, and so on. And we considered each one of these items in their turn. Now, we didn't get into the more technical aspects such as zoning or something like soil bearing capacity, because these things are just too advanced for somebody who's just starting out. Now, I had mentioned that I prefer it when students, at least in the early years, continue with the site analysis until they arrive at some sort of a conclusion, something which is going to give them a clear sense of direction when they get into the design of their project. And then this concept is included as part of their presentation. I mentioned that the issues I was particularly interested in were the approach to the site and this notion of withholding the view until you enter the space. And I expressed these basic ideas in two little sketches. Now it comes time to present this work for review. How am I going to go about doing it? Well, let's list all the things that have to be included on our presentation panel. I need to show where the site is located, within Ireland, on the River Shannon. I need to translate my site notes onto a site plan so I can start describing some of the important features in a visual way. I'll be indicating the sun path and the predominant wind direction. I'll also key in the locations of where these photographs were taken and what they are pointing toward. Because my strategy is so related to views, I'm going to include images of the views that I favour. Now, I could include images of lots of other views, but I can't present absolutely everything. So I have to focus on those things that I personally feel are important. I already have a lot of information that I need to show, so how am I going to organise it? I'm going to do this by designing my A1 presentation sheet in much the same way as I design a building. I'm going to sketch the design as a cartoon on an A4 sheet, and I'm going to use a basic grid to help me lay it out. I start by giving the sheet a title. I write site analysis as carefully as I can in hand lettering. And then I think I'll put the plan, which includes most of my analysis notes, in the bottom left-hand corner. Beside that, I'm going to put my little conclusion sketches. I'm going to put a row of photographs of the views across the top, the views that I'll be working with, each one of them numbered so that they correspond to the plan. Now down the side, I am going to make some notes about flora and fauna because that might come into the story a little bit later. And then I will include some additional site information, like for example, its general climate. So sunshine hours per year, amount of rainfall, that kind of thing, just so it puts the viewer into the picture of the kind of site we're working on. Because you're probably doing a site analysis presentation for the first time, you're likely to be working entirely by hand. Now, just because it's easier for me to demonstrate in the video, I'm just going to put it together on Photoshop, but it shouldn't make a whole lot of difference. Like where I'm using, say, computer text, you'll be lettering by hand, but that's not of any great consequence. You should end up with a sheet that's very like mine. So now we've done a very basic site analysis and a very basic site analysis presentation. Now it's important to remember that this is very basic. If we were in the professional environment doing a real life project, our site analysis would be way more involved. But we have to take it one step at a time. We'll get into the more complex things later on. Site analysis is about being very organized, going to the site in a reflective frame of mind, taking clear notes, using your ideas to move toward a conclusion, one that's going to help you with your design, and then expressing all of these ideas in the simplest way that you can imagine on an A1 sheet. And that's all there is to it. That's it. It's all about clear thought. That's it.